Hello, hello, and welcome to another session of the Mastermind Book Club. I'm David Diaz, one of your hosts, and I'd like to introduce our new book, Focus on You Until You Win by Shirley Harold. To introduce his first summary, I'd like to call on Reggie Hilliard.
Hello, everyone. Reggie, Hilliard, representing the Mastermind Book Club with David Diaz today. This book, Focus on You Until You Win, is a nice encapsulated philosophy on how you can thrive and excel in your life by going through or following a bunch of disciplines, a bunch of strategies, a bunch of ways that can definitely help shape your life each and every day and help you to show up every day and show up and win. So, it's a short book. So it doesn't have a whole bunch of theory and such, but it gives you some nuggets that you can run with to make sure that you're, making sure you feel full, you feel whole each day, so that you don't fall apart. That maybe if you're going through some different things that you're able to recover from, things like burnout, where you feel stretched thin and you're mostly distraught and things like that. So if you would have followed the things that are outlined in the book, you can help yourself to being able to feel good about yourself, to be able to set the tone for your day each and every day, to be able to move through your day with vigor and tenacity and will to win. All of these things will definitely help you each and every day if you to follow. So that's the short version of it. Just basically showing up to being able to make sure that you're able to win each and every day. And when you're having your issues, you're bumping up against things, that you have some strategies that helps you to recover from those issues, and to be able to keep yourself on track if you fall off track a bit, and then continue to move forward so that each and every day you're able to thrive and excel. And that's it.
Very good, Reggie Hilliard. Very, very good. Thank you. So one of the focus on winner, according to Shirley Harold, when you focus on becoming, you become more focused on what you're doing to get to the level of winning. So focus on what you need to do. Sometimes it's just creating a momentum and continuously doing it over and over in a repetitive fashion. And that way we focus, instead of being winners, we focus on the process of becoming, and that will lead to us reaching our goals with a more realistic purpose. Reggie, what else did you learn out of this book that you think you can apply? Don't hear you, Reggie. You're muted.
One other thing that I will focus on or touch on is that in this book, it touches on the fact that you don't need any type of external validation from people or things. If you were to just center on yourself and focus on yourself and making sure that you attend to who you are in your business at hand, that you can then make sure that the things that you're doing are going to work towards fulfilling the purpose that you have on this planet, fulfilling the goals that you have, and making sure that the things that you want to achieve are going to happen. Because it doesn't take for you to wait for somebody else to tell you what to do. It doesn't take for you to wait for you to be assigned, right? If you have that understanding, you have this clarity about yourself, and that it's about you waking up every day, waking up to do the job that you need to do to win, to thrive, to make sure that each and every day you're pushing yourself forward, then it's that's going to actually move you forward. It doesn't take for you to wait. It doesn't take for you to desire something external, anything like that, as I just mentioned. So if you really just keep yourself centered in that way, in that thought process of understanding that it's you who is the driver of all things in your life, then once you then get that, and then you keep to that understanding, it's from that you can actually take yourself through the life that you have, and making sure that life is the life that you want to live.
Thank you, Reggie. Reggie, well, one other thing that I learned was, if you commit to your whatever it is that you're focusing on, for example, writing a book, and you focus on that one chapter, then you're focusing not on the long-term goal of making a successful book, necessarily, but making a successful chapter, making a successful page, making a successful sentence, and so on. That's what creates a winner. And this is where the author is attempting to, or at least that's what my portrayal is of this book. What do you think on this?
One more time, you said that part was which? What do you want me to focus on?
So the book calls us to commit to ourselves by focusing, for example, on writing a book, instead of focusing on the whole book or being a successful author, to focus on creating one chapter, one page, one sentence, where one sentence can be powerful, or in a paragraph, focus on a paragraph, delivering a message that will reach people because of your experience.
Yes, I agree. Because a lot of times, if you look at the whole picture of the whole thing in front of you, it gets for some people to be very overwhelming. And like they say, there's an expression: you don't eat the. How does it? How do you take? How do you go ahead and eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. So it's just taking those bites, little bites, little bites, little bites. A lot of times we don't even think of it that way because we look at the whole picture or the whole thing that we have before us, and we think we have to accomplish all of that at once. And then so a lot of us never start. But if we were able to reframe our understanding, our mind to understanding that it takes little bits, little bits, little bits, and before you know it, you have a decent part of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and you keep going. Before you know it, you're going to have it all finished. That's the way for many of us is the best way to go about it, because then we're not overwhelmed and we can actually fulfill those things that we wish to accomplish on our list. So yes, I definitely agree with that. For many of us, it's definitely a good thing to do it little by little, as opposed to trying to take on the whole project all at once.
Thank you, Reggie. Reggie, my last words on this book and are basically, you need an hour of power on a regular basis. For some people, it's going to be meditation. For some, it's going to be health. For some, it's going to be family. For some, it's going to be work. You just got to choose. There's no perfection. It's different for everyone. Whatever it is, it could be something else than what I mentioned. But whatever it is, your hour of power, you've got to realize that this is the only way to focus on yourself. It could be through focusing on others, to focus on yourself. So I like that idea, and it just calls us to be realistic and focus on something specific in order to achieve a more specific goal than focusing on winning. Reg, any last words?
I mean, I agree everything with what you just said there. As well, what I'll touch on is the fact of like focusing on yourself or putting time into yourself is not a selfish act. I mean, it is selfish, but not selfish in a way where it's looked at as a negative. Because a lot of times when you say that you're focusing on yourself, or you're putting time and you're looking into yourself and doing things for yourself, people will take that as something as it's kind of like an attack. But it's not, because if you don't have yourself together, it's really hard to do much of anything else. And I always go back to the analogy of being on a plane, and if the plane was to lose cabin pressure, to make sure you put that oxygen mask on you. A lot of us are walking around without any oxygen. So essentially, that is, or little oxygen. So it's essentially like we're almost like suffocating in our lives, or almost as if we're, kind of like teetering on the edge. So the more time you put into yourself, taking that time aside early in the morning or whatever, just sitting aside instead of saying, I don't have time. Many people say they have time and they're trying to do all these other things. And you can see that clearly falling apart or not doing those things very well. If you were just to take some time, very necessary time to yourself, whether it's in sitting in meditation, doing some reading, stretching, exercising, a host of other things, just pick one or two or three things, just really short, quick, that will definitely make a monumental difference in your life. So I always advocate that, and advocate to people or say to people, please, please, please take some time to yourself so that you can, show up better each and every day.
That's definitely true, that we need time, and that's why I say that we cannot just overlook. There are many things that can be done, whether it's health, whether it's meditation, family, helping others, whatever it may be. Just take time for yourself, whatever it may be. It's good because it's for you. So that's it for another session. I want to thank you all for listening here, and tune in next week when we'll have another empowering book. Thanks to Reggie Hilliard and myself, David Diaz. See you next week. Thank you. I'm done. I'll end this, but I'll have to cut a little part because I don't even know. There it is. Okay. Did it stop?